Hello lovelies, welcome to Journey with Judy. Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I want to show you how you can preserve beans. This is the best time to preserve your beans because beans is very cheap and you get fresh beans this period, weevil free beans this period. So the first method I want to tell us is the pepper method, the pepper and keg method. So now what you need for this method is a keg. You need a big keg to preserve your beans. Okay, when you buy your beans, sun it, buy a very hot pepper, a very hot pepper. Now mix your beans with the pepper. Okay, you can pour your beans in layers. When you add some pepper. Okay, you don't need to grind the pepper, you don't need to grind it. So when you pour your beans, you add some pepper, pour your beans and add some pepper. You know those tiny pepper, they are more pepperish than the bigger size. So if you can get those tiny dry pepper, that is what you need to preserve your beans. This is so natural, you don't need chemicals, and this is going to last for as long as you want. It's going to last for a year. So just do this method, and when you are buying beans, make sure you buy a beans that is weevil free, a beans that does not have insect. Buy a fresh beans, a beans that is clean. This way your beans is going to stay with the pepper in it and inside a keg. And make sure you close your keg properly, make sure you tight it, make sure you close it very well. The second method is the freezer method. If you have a freezer, you can even use this freezer method for the first method. Now I will explain to you what I mean by you can use this freezer method for the first method. Now how can you use this freezer method for the first method? When you buy your beans, okay, tie it in a nylon. Make sure tie it in a way that water cannot get into it, water cannot go into it. Put it in your freezer, leave it in the freezer for 2 days, and make sure you have light, like there's constant light. If you are in a place where you don't have constant light and it can't block your anything, it can't block your meat, your fish, you can't do that. You can't do this method. So you need a freezer, a freezer that has block. No insect can survive inside the freezer. No insect can survive inside the freezer, both them and their eggs. Now how will this method preserve your beans? Just put it in the freezer, tie it in a way that water will not get into it, and leave it there for 2 or 3 days. After 3 days, bring it out and dry it on the sun. The good thing about it is that this period is dry season, there's no rain, so just dry it in the sun for a day and put it in an airtight container. That beans can last for up to a year. Yes, this method is good for those that are selling. This method is good for personal consumption. So if you want to buy beans and store as a family, this method is good for you. So you don't need to leave it in the freezer for long. You just leave it in the freezer for some days, it's just okay. Now the eggs are dead, the weevils are dead, nothing can make them get spoiled. You know what makes these beans get spoiled is those weevils. Okay, their eggs and the weevils itself. There are times you buy beans and you won't see any weevil, but their eggs are hidden, their eggs are there. But this method will kill both the weevil and their eggs. So when you do this method, you put it in an airtight, you dry it in the sun, so that if there are any water that came from the freezer, the water will dry it up, and you cannot put it in an airtight container. So when I talk about airtight container, a keg is preferable. Okay, and make sure the cover is tight, make sure it's very tight. So these are the 2 natural methods I have for you to store your beans. Give this a try and you will never regret storing your beans this way. This is what I've been using to store my beans without chemicals, and they can stay for up to a year. Give this a try, you're going to love it. Beans is very cheap this period, so this is the best time to preserve your beans. This is the best time to store your beans. This was sold for 35,000 or so few months back, but now beans is sold for 28,000 naira. Can you see the difference? So this is the best time to store your beans. I don't know if the price will come down again, I don't know, but let's keep watching. But if you want to wait for it to come down more than this, just make sure you open your ears. In case you hear that 1,000 have added to it, just know that it's not coming down again, it will just be going up. So if you want to wait for it to come down more, fine. If not, better store your beans now before the price goes up again. So that's what I have for you today. Try this method and you're gonna love it. If you find this helpful, please give me a thumbs up by clicking on that like button, And if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please click on the red subscribe button. Subscribing to my channel is free. Join this amazing family. Let's grow together. Thanks for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.